Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Fold Line. I am back this week with the edit. I hope you're well and having a nice week so far. We have got some great stuff to talk to you about this week. So I'm going to get started. We've got magazines, new designers this week. So it's quite an exciting release week for us. First things first, I'm going to apologise. The thing I'm going to talk about is Fibre Mood. At this point, I usually pick up the Fibre Mood magazine, of which I don't have because the postman is holding it hostage. The post is very slow at the moment, so I'm sorry, it should be with me, but it is not. So it's one of their special magazines. They release them kind of sporadically at different points throughout the year. And this one is kind of the focus of it is athleisure wear, which is really nice actually. And I will say, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know about this, but actually when I looked at the patterns, they're really nice. So if you basically like comfortable stuff, it's probably less full throttle sporty and more athleisure than anything. So if I'll show you some pictures of the patterns so you can get an idea, but there's a really nice selection. So maybe if I start with the line drawing so we can see what is going on. You get 16 different patterns in this one, and sizing on it is a UK 6 to 30. There are some really nice pieces of outerwear. There's a great pair of leggings, which are super useful. Tracksuit bottoms, some little shorts, but the kind of, I guess the tops and outerwear for me are the most interesting of the options available. I really like particularly this zip up sort of, they've made it like a Borg fabric jacket with a little pocket on the front. Feels really kind of on trend with that sort of like Borg, which is in all the high street all the time. And I like that it's got different seam lines, so you could actually have a play with fabrication. This little leopard print number I thought was great. Zips up the front, big pockets on the front, and also I love this detail around the neckline with the ruching in the kind of little toggles to pull it in. That would make a really good, actually such a useful item for your wardrobe. There's like a little kind of sheet raincoat, but you could also make it in a cotton as well, and it would look really nice. There's also kind of a longer variation of this, so you can see it's got a hood, zips up the front, kind of balloon sleeves, and yeah, so everything has this sort of sporty feel to it, but it's, as you can see when I'm showing you, there's this like lovely hoodie with a kind of kangaroo pocket on the front. It's kind of, yeah, more in the athleisure department. I also particularly like the kind of gilet. I'll show you a picture of it. And it's cut kind of slightly longer, which I think is really nice actually. Feels like quite a useful kind of layering piece at this time of year. A kind of classic kind of boxy t-shirt. And I really like actually the fabrication, particularly in this particular one. I love that waffle, they've used that waffle fabric on a t-shirt. I think it's really nice. There's also, which is on the kind of cover shot, this kind of a popover style jacket with a big kangaroo pocket on the front, like big zip. I'm not sure whether it folds into itself. That would be quite fun if it did that. But yeah, really nice hood. Yeah, I just thought it was a really kind of clever sort of pattern. But yeah, there's some really great patterns in there, so it's definitely worth going and having a look at. And then we have got two new designers on site, which is very exciting. They're both in relatively new designers. They both have kind of like a smaller range of patterns, but they've got really great stuff. So I think you guys are going to love them. So first up, we've got Spaghetti Western, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. Really fantastic range of patterns. So I'm going to talk about a few of them, and then I'll talk about the other new designer. So Spaghetti Western. First range, first of the patterns I'm going to talk to you about is probably my favourite of her patterns, and it's called the Rue Quilt Coat. I'm obsessed with this. I think it's such a great pattern. So if I show you the line drawing, we can see what is going on. You can see that there are poppers down the front. It's got this really nice kind of collar. The kind of core detail with this jacket is that it's cut slightly longer at the front than the back. You can see the slits at the side, which I really love in a quilted jacket. I actually am wearing one at the moment, and mine doesn't do that, and I really wish it does, because it just creates a kind of more interesting silhouette. PDF only for this. Sizing is a UK 8 to 38. And I'll show you some pictures so you can see what is going on. I just think it's a really sweet pattern. You can see that all the edging of this is finished, like bias finished edging. And the other really sweet little detail with this pattern is that it's got this internal strap in it. I'll show you a picture. So that basically when it gets too hot, you can kind of throw it over yourself and wear. And I just thought, yeah, it's a really fab pattern. So if you are thinking quilted coat, this one is definitely worth having a look at. And I really love the little variation they've got with the tie front, the kind of off-center ties, which I think is really sweet. If you love that, this was probably my favourite little thing. You can also make it in a miniature version for your kid. So they've made a Rue kids version of the coat, which is super sweet. And I do think a quilted coat for a kid is like the best idea. It's anyone who has a child who doesn't like wearing a jumper, but you can't get them into a proper coat either. This is like the middle ground. Such a fab idea. So sizing on this is age 1 to 12 years. So yes, it's fab. I absolutely love it. Then we have got the Henrietta skirt. If you haven't seen this yet, this has been really, really popular. I know lots of people have made it. It's in a really interesting shape. So let's have a look what's going on. You can see there's an elasticated waist, hurrah. And then it's cut sort of, I guess, midi length. But it has these really interesting details. You can see these two kind of arched seam lines with gathering into them. And I thought that it really kind of fascinated me as a cut. So it's kind of panels that are inserted, and this then you have your kind of front panel, and then it just adds that kind of volume. It just is an interesting shape. I haven't really seen this in a skirt before, and I know loads of people have made it and really loved it. Sizing on this is again a UK 8 to 38. Then we have got their Juno dress, which is fab if you haven't seen it yet. Actually, anyone who watched my trends post, this kind of, it's like almost like a rugby shirt dress. I'll show you the line drawing so you can see what is going on. There are two different variations for this. So you can either cut it so it's really simple and plain at the front, kind of pop over style, little collar, short sleeves, but quite kind of loose fit sleeves. Or you can have it where there is a seam line running across kind of your upper bust with some gathering into that. So if you want to make it feel kind of silhouette wise a bit more boxy, then this is the one to go for. But yeah, sizing again is UK 8 to 38, PDF only. And that is it for Spaghetti Western. There are a few other patterns. I'll pop links so you can go and have a look at them. But yeah, we're really excited to have them on the site. And then we have got Syd Graham, which is another up-and-coming designer, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. She released a couple of patterns that kind of went mad. Everyone kind of loved them. And yeah, so we're really excited to have her on the site. I'm going to talk about a few of them, and obviously I'll pop a link to all of them. So the first one is the Syd tie top and dress. I think this might have been her first one, and this was the one that ever really kind of kick-started everyone's kind of obsession with her. But I will show you the line drawing because you get quite a lot of bang for your buck with this pattern. So you can see that there are different variations. You can either have it as a top with sleeves. There are tie details all the way down. You can make it sleeveless, so you then could wear that as a separate little like gilet, as a layering piece, as well as wearing it as a standalone top. Then there's a sleeveless dress variation and a dress variation with a sleeve. You can see there is tiers of gathering. It's a really versatile pattern. I think you can make it in loads of different fabrics and different variations, and it would feel completely different. And it has been wildly popular. I particularly love the proportions of the top. I have to say the top of the two, the sleeved top. I love the kind of puff on the sleeve, but it's not too much. And yeah, it just feels like a really lovely pattern. So that is the first one. Now, the next one, I'm going to say the word Christmas, and I am obsessed with this. It is called, it's a Christmas tree skirt. So I have, lots of people make these. I've seen these around, and I just love them. So it's basically, you put it round the bottom of the Christmas tree to cover kind of the stand or the ugly bit at the bottom. This one is beautiful. It's quilted, it's scalloped, it's got ties on it. It has everything that a girl needs in a Christmas tree skirt. It is beautiful. I really love it. I think it's such a cool idea. There are loads of different quilting options that it comes available with. You can obviously, you don't have to have ties, you can put buttons, you know, the world is your oyster. You can get really creative. But I just thought it was beautiful. And I thought it was such a nice thing, because if you started now and you're a prolific sewer, then you could actually probably get it nearly finished. You can get it done by Christmas if you've got the time. But yeah, now is the time to start. But I just like the idea. Also like the idea of making it with like sentimental fabrics that you're, you know, if you've got kids, you can make it out of their old clothes, and it just would, yeah. I love stuff that you kind of get out each year for Christmas. Yeah, it's lovely. And I know that quite a few of the team are quite keen on making that one as well. Then she's got a fab quilted vest. If you haven't seen this, really nice proportions on it. It's called the Ruby Vest. It's got different options, so you can kind of make it proportionally shorter or longer depending on how you like to wear it. You can have it with ties at the front or little poppers. Again, it's got that bias binding that goes all the way around. Really nice, simple pattern. This would be a nice fun one that wouldn't take you too long. And there are lots of pictures of it on different people. You can put pockets on it, you know, you can do whatever you like with it. So that one is also there for you. And last but not least, from Syd Graham, we've got the Skyline dress, which I think is really great. I appreciate, for us in the UK, this feels quite summery and we are moving into autumn. For anyone who is going on holiday somewhere warm or in a warm country, this dress is fab. You can see that there are different variations, so you can either make it so it's slightly more simple. It's got a nice round neckline, simple spaghetti straps, a little bit of gathering that goes into up into the bias bound neckline, and then you can pick between different tiers on your skirts. You can either have it just as one, which has a little less volume, or you can add it with kind of layers of tiers, which gives it kind of much more of a voluminous sort of shape. Sizing on this is a UK 6 to 36. So yes, that is it from me this week. I hope that was useful. I will pop links to the new designers so you can go and have a proper look. Do go and have a look at all their patterns, because they'll be releasing lots more with us. And yes, that is it from me this week. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. Bye.